We are very glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Sam Kalisa. As we begin it off tonight, living heroes urge elders to be close to the youth and teach and train them about the culture of heroism, and also advise and assist them in choosing the right path instead of abandoning them. This comes ahead of the annual celebration of the National Heroes Day, which is usually celebrated on February 1st, but the emphasis is promoting the culture of tourism. Olive Nete starts us off tonight with this report.
Joseline Mukahirwa tells us about her history of what she went through back then in Nyange. Joseline and her colleagues are now among the heroes of Imena category. They say that they have decided to be close to young people and encourage them to be characterized by loyalty and unity. I usually start with my kids and then train them about the culture of heroism, patriotism, and loving work. And I also train them to have good values and avoid bad behaviors that would cause damages to their future or cause problems to neighbors.
In our various daily activities, we are in work with the local authorities. And during our work, we enhance the culture of heroism. A big part of the members of Inyange are educators, and in our daily activity of educating, we try to enhance that culture of heroism.
In addition to those who have already been named as heroes, Mukanguranga Marie-Jeanne is among the elders who play a major role in training young people the culture of heroism, especially in the field of preserving culture. She emphasizes that elder people should always assist young people to choose right and train them to have good manners. It's been 20 years since the heroes of Imena category from Nyange established an organization called Komeza Ubutwari with the aim of continuing the culture of heroism both among young people and Rwandans in general. The head of this organization, Sindai Hebafanuel, say that some of what they do include reaching out to young people, but he also urges elders to train young people heroism because it is a value that can be learned.
I urge elders not to be discouraged and keep training the youth because it is a culture that can be learned and acquired, and when people acquire it, they put it into practice.
The organization of Komeza Ubutwari is made up of former students of Nyange in Gorero district, and it now consists of 39 members who are now in the category of Imena. Some of the activities they collaborate with the Chancellery for Heroes, National Orders and Decorations of Honor include having discussions on the culture of heroism in secondary schools and higher learning institutions, as well as in government and non-governmental institutions. Heroes Day is celebrated every year on the 1st of February. The Minister of Youth and Culture, Rosemary Mbabazi, points out that remembering the heroes of the country is an activity aimed at enhancing the culture of heroism in young people, which is also part of the country's vision. We cannot exist without heroes because every century has its own heroes. That is why we should have it in our mindset, and it is even in our culture and history as Rwandans. This should also be trained to young people, not only speaking of heroes who are no longer alive, but train the future generations to become heroes, and this is also in our vision, the vision that is based on a future built on heritage. This year, the National Heroes Day will be celebrated for the 29th time. The week dedicated to heroism activities has been ongoing, and it started on the 20th of this month and will end on Heroes Day. The Heroes Day of this year has a theme that says, "Our heroism, our dignity." Olive Nete, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Olive, for the report. As we move ahead to other matters, while most of our sub-Saharan countries are still facing the problem of insufficient investment knowledge, Afri Global launched a program or a business clinic which aims at amplifying capabilities of all age groups through programs of financial literacy, capacity building, innovation, and moral support to achieve a skilled ecosystem that will attract and drive economic change, social welfare, and entrepreneurial responsibilities. Now, my colleague Adam Squizera is currently at Unge Grand Hotel at the launch of this first business clinic. Adam Squizera, good evening, and thank you very much for being there. And you can go ahead and tell us more about this launch of the first cohort of the business clinic.
Well, thank you, Sam. As you said, this program will mostly tackle on capacity building of these entrepreneurs. As an additional to that, it is expected to reach in almost 30 districts of this country. As by now, I'm standing with the Chief Executive Officer of this Afri Global Cooperation Program. He's called Shaka Michael. Shaka Michael, you can approach me.
Okay.
So, can you express more details on this program as well?
Thank you so much for having me. AfriGlobal, it's a bridge. It's a vehicle between the investors and startups. So the AfriGlobal, it's a solution. We are giving back to the community actually. For us, we are looking forward how we can connect the investors and the startups. Another thing, we are in capacity building, the mentorship. We want to train our people. So having a company, it's not enough. You need to be trained in terms of, do you have a lawyer? Do you have someone who advises in taxes? Do you have an office? Do you have, and which challenge do you have? Access to finance. So what we do, we just connect with an investor. Then the investor, if is interested in your business, maybe he can do joint venture, he can buy shares, he can do capital venture, or maybe you can get an angel investor. Because we believe in Rwanda, we have also the investors. We don't need even to have 10 million USD or 5 million D. Even 5,000 USD, that's enough for the young person or someone from Rusizi or someone from Nyagatare or someone from Karongi. So we are in that. It's a cocktail. It's a cocktail and it's an ecosystem. But our target is all about, we see what can we contribute for the economy of the country, for the transformation of the country, of our Vision 2050, the Vision 2035, the middle income. So we want to bring this solution for our fellow Rwandans, for our fellow Africans, so that we can tap the opportunity. Secondly, also we are looking about African Continental Free Trade Area. So we cannot trade on the continental level when we don't have the capacity building, when we don't know about the laws, when we don't know about the taxes, when we don't have that skill. So we are very, very, very more serious on that. And what we are bringing as a solution, which is very unique to others, it's all about how can we bring these investors and we connect them to the startups. I was telling you, when you go to US, when you go to UK, when you go to Germany, when you go to Sweden, when you go to India, when you go to China, these governments, the government supported a lot of startups and they grown. Thank you.
A little bit. You are launching today the business clinic.
Yes.
CEO, can you, in brief, explain what is this business clinic in brief?
So in brief, we always think about the clinic, it's a hospital. Now, this is a hospital for business people. Are you sick? You don't know, you don't have a solution? So we launched the business clinic cohort. This is our first business clinic. So we want to advise. We want to see which disease do you have, which kind of problem do you have, which kind of the challenges do you have. We as AfriGlobal, we are ready to facilitate, we are ready to support, we are ready to show you the right way so that you can grow. When you grow, the country grow. When you grow, the Africa grow. When you grow, the world grow. So we believe in that and also work as a team so that we can achieve the Vision 2050, the Vision 2035, and of course the Africa we want, Agenda 2063.
Well, concluding, how this is going to cooperate with the government hand in hand with that NST1?
Actually, that's why the Minister of Trade today, the Permanent Secretary representing the Minister of Trade today, we work with the government hand in hand. That's why the private sector, the Vice Chairperson, she's here. That's why, you saw the ambassadors here. So, the private sector, the business goes hand in hand with the politics. So, we work hand in hand. The government are policies, they are doing policies, but as a private sector, as AfriGlobal, it's implementer. So for us, we are ready to implement what the government is putting, and we are ready to give a hand to the government because this is our country. We are a shareholder of this country, so we belong to this country. So we need also to contribute for the economy of this country.
Well, thank you, CEO.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you to Adam Squizera, and it's indeed a joint cooperation between different institutions in different sectors, be it the public and the private sector, to jointly grow the economy of our country. As we move ahead to other matters, country breeders in Gishwati say that they bought membership shares in Mukamira Dairy more than 14 years ago, but have so far received nothing, requesting the company to inform them on the value of their shares. Some of them gave out a cow's worth 500,000 Rwandan francs, and others bought their membership while giving liquid money. We do have more on the report.
These cattle farmers from Gishwati bought shares in the Mukamira Dairy more than 14 years ago. The agreement that the breeders in Rubavu and Nyabihu show appears to have been made with the Ministry of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry through the former RALDA in 2008 and 2009. According to the contacts, the share paid by the breeder is 500,000 to start the Mukamira milk processing plant. Ever since we gave out cows as equivalents to a share, we have not been updated on the progress. We gave out cows that were tested by the veterinary doctor to make sure they are of a good standard. Each was worth 500,000. Ever since, there is no any other proof that we own shares. These breeders say that Mukamira Dairy has been operating for almost 6 years, but as shareholders, they do not receive any information about the status of the company, and so as to play a role in its operation and management, which raise concern to them. Nothing shows that we are members, and we are not given the information on the operations of the factory. We need advocacy to know where our shares are. They have never invited cattle breeders to update them on the interest of their share, yet the law provides for that. We are still wondering if we are shareholders or not. We need advocacy, or else we will go to higher authorities, because by now, one cow would have multiplied to 15 or 20. Can they give them to us? The management of the Mukamira Dairy Factory admits that the farmers have shares in the factory and apologizes for not providing information about the company's current status to these farmers. They promise that in the meeting scheduled before March of this year, they will be updated on the company's status. Daudi Uchakara is the CEO of Mukamira Dairy. When we came to office, we knew that cattle breeders have shares, and they are even represented in the Mukamira Dairy board. That person should update them, but we want to remove their concern and update them on the status of the industry. There are currently more than 12,000 cattle breeders in the Gishwati area from the districts of Rubavu, Nyabihu, Rutsiro, Ngororero and Musanze. The management of Mukamira Dairy admits that these farmers have more than 11% of the shares in this company, whereas 88% of the remaining shares are owned by Nyanja Industries.
Thank you, Prince, for the report. And as we move ahead, the Ministry of Local Government and the Private Sector Federation are planning to establish a committee which joins both institutions in order to jointly look at effective methods that can be used to reduce the number of people in extreme poverty to reach by less than 1% by 2024, as approved by the Cabinet meeting, which convened in November 2022. We do have the report with Olive Nete.
On Sunday in the morning hours at the Special Economic Zone, some people are waiting to be hired, while others are already working. The increase in industries in the country means prosperity for some of the low-income workers.
The kind of job that we do here in the economic zone is to unpack goods from trucks and also do some other activities in the industries. The income you get assists you in various ways, such as buying clothes and rent a house.
With the money I get here, I can buy clothes and also use it for my needs, such as buying food, buying a phone, or even give some to my mother so that she can use it in various activities. In the Cabinet-approved resolutions of the 11th of November last year, the Cabinet made a decision regarding the implementation plan of the country's goal of reducing the rate of extreme poverty to less than 1% by 2024 through the National Strategy for Sustainable Graduation Program. In recent discussions between the Ministry of Local Government and members of the Private Sector Federation, the plan to support people with the private sector with low income was reiterated on, as the second Vice Chairperson of the Private Sector Federation explains.
If a person is disabled and by chance that person was able to find assistance, why would you tax them beyond what they are able to provide? We learn from other countries, such as in countries we export goods to. You will find that there are places which pay less taxes, like 3%, and others 5%, based on their financial means. If the private sector works with concerned institutions, it won't cause problems, because it is something that is obvious. One center will be charged 3%, and then when they improve, you can increase their percentage and make it 20%. And today, with technology, it is very easy, and I think we should reinforce that. And I think with that committee, we will be able to reach that. I know that we won't reach 100%, but slowly, we can reach great things as PSF.
The Commissioner General of the Rwanda Revenue Authority, Bizimana Pascal Oganintwari, notes that there are short-term and long-term reforms currently happening, taking into account people in the private sector in order to reduce poverty.
The reasons why we are doing this, and also to attract investors, and also making it easy for taxpayers by increasing the economy of the country. All of that requires a number of procedures, such as reviewing taxes accordingly, such as taxes in land services, VAT, and review everything. We also want to increase the number of taxpayers, but with them paying taxes appropriately.
Samuel Dusengiyumva, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Local Government, emphasized that the private sector can play a big role in the eradication of poverty.
We will also provide this to the local authorities. There is a plan to make sure that the program reaches at the district level and also at the sector levels, so that all those levels will be informed, and this will assist people. For example, those who do not find appropriate employees due to the fact that they are not well trained or other various issues, so that the residents can find jobs, but also for the improvement of their business activities.
The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and climate change has greatly affected the global economy. However, the managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, commends Rwanda for its effort in improving the economy.
The IMF and Rwanda have worked well together, especially during the difficult time caused by exogenous shocks, by COVID, by the war in Ukraine. We have supported Rwanda, and I'm very pleased to see that Rwanda is performing well above the average for Africa. We project a growth rate of 6.2% for this year, 7.5% for next year, and while this is 1.7% less than we projected before the pandemic, it is still way above the average for Africa. Rwanda has the Foundation for Prosperity that is based on investments in education, excellent infrastructure, including digital infrastructure, and above all, strong institutions and rule of law.
The country manager of the World Bank, Roland Price, notes that it has been assisting women who do cross-border trade through the agreement signed by the bank with the authorities of Great Lakes region.
I have to say that the World Bank remains committed to promoting regional integration and international trade in general, and specifically in Rwanda, given the importance for improving this country's resilience against global shocks, supporting growth, and reducing poverty. You know that our mission at the World Bank Group is to end extreme poverty and to promote shared prosperity, that is to grow the incomes of the bottom 40% of the population. We deploy a variety of different instruments to support the development of technology capacities, trade and regional integration, specifically in Rwanda. The recently closed $26 million Great Lakes Trade Facilitation Project help to facilitate cross-border trade by increasing the capacity for commerce and reducing the costs faced by traders, especially small-scale and female traders, at targeted locations in the borderlands.
According to the report of the Ministry of Local Government, based on the 5th Research on the Well-being of Households, it shows that 24.5% of households are in poverty. Olive Nete, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Olive, for the report. And moving ahead, the members of the Bureau Politique of the Social Democratic Party, PSG, convened in discussions for analyzing the economic status of the party, as well as addressing the current challenges. The chairperson of the party, Dr. Vincent Biruta, states that this is the first meeting of this party in 2023, and measures to be taken will favor the progress of PSD in the entire year. He also demonstrated the current status of the party. He as well went ahead to say that the elections of parliamentarians in Rwanda are close, and this is the right time for the members of the Bureau Politique to provide ideas on the candidates of the party to be given. Moving ahead to health-related matters, Rwanda plans to eradicate 8 neglected tropical diseases by 2030, which, as most of them actually result from poor hygiene. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, there are currently 20 neglected tropical diseases. We do have the report with Adam Squizera.
There's 8 neglected tropical diseases that Rwanda plans to eradicate, mainly those caused by poor hygiene, but also those caused by animal bites, including snakes and dogs. In northern and western parts, where there are volcanoes, elephantiasis is prevalent. Meanwhile, in all parts of the country, there is a population with intestinal worms because it is at the rate of 41%. Those who have these diseases say that they are worried because it affects them.
It worries me because most of the time I spit like a pregnant woman, and sometimes when it is too sunny, I feel dizzy. These worms are affecting me gravely.
According to the Rwanda Biomedical Center, neglected diseases in Rwanda that are of the great concern are intestinal worms, elephantiasis, allergies, animal bites, such as dogs and snakes, and others. The acting director of Unity for the Control of Neglected Diseases at the RBC, Bonigawa Jean Bosco, points out that these diseases are commonly found in low-income families and that everyone's role is needed to eradicate them. These diseases are alarming, and everything that kills a human is something that we should be concerned about. Most of these diseases kill people, and others affect people gravely, causing them disabilities. These are diseases that we should be concerned about, and Rwanda should plan on how to eradicate them by 2030. He also pointed out that there are some of the diseases that the World Health Organization has certified that they are completely eradicated from Rwanda. For example, this disease of sleeping sickness has been completely eradicated, and it was also certified by the World Health Organization, and we even received a certificate in 2022 that confirms that diseases such as Dankalis, trachoma, which cause blindness, it was also eradicated. Research by RBC shows that 41% of Rwandans suffer intestinal worms, of which 48% are adults. Tapeworms also cause epilepsy and kills about 3,000 people every year. Statistics from 2019 show that 100,000 residents were suffering from leprosy. There were over 6,400 people with elephantiasis, 1,000 people are bitten by dogs, and 1,500 are bitten by snakes. On 30 January 2023, Rwanda will join the world for the 3rd time in celebrating the International Day dedicated to combating neglected diseases. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
On behalf of the entire news production, as well as the technical team that made it happen, thank you for being with us on this edition of Rwanda Television News. We wish you to stay safe and have a fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.